Yo, what up? This is D Knight, and you're listening to the Pardon the Insurrection podcast. My oh my, we've had so much going on. For starters, in case you missed it, we've got a new addition to the Pardon Pie family, Tara Dublin. Make sure you go follow her on Twitter at Tara Dublin Rocks. Also, pick up a copy of her book while you're at it. Make her day, The Sound of Settling. A very fun and interesting read compared to the things we talk about on this podcast. But yeah, we're heading toward the do or die time for the 2024 election. Go ahead and hit up JoeBiden.com. Get that man like $1 a month or something. Help his campaign staff up and get prepared to try and save our democracy. And make sure to grab like one other person you know and tell them about the podcast. Make sure they subscribe and tune in every single week. We got a lot of things coming up for you this year. We need all the support that we can get. So if you do your part and help us grow our audience, we'll do our part and help elect Joe Biden in 2024 and save American democracy. And this is the Pardon the Insurrection podcast.
Yes, edibles are legal in New Mexico.
Carol, do you want to be the host today?
What does that mean? I'm reading?
Sure. You can just drive the whole show if you'd like.
But these are all your notes. Okay, well, sure. I
mean, you don't have to. I was just offering.
I could read some of them. I liked switching them up.
You do?
Did you like hearing me read them? Was that episode successful?
All the episodes are good that you're in.
My daughter's like, do we have Amazon or HBO Max? I'm like, yeah, like all of them. So I've got to get her the password.
You need something to watch.
Get your daughter the channels.
No, we can take turns if you want to. I don't want to hog all being the host. Like,
I like reading.
Do you? It's our podcast. It's not mine. It's ours together. I just try and make it.
I appreciate that. I did not feel challenged or threatened or whatever.
Yeah.
I did feel like I saved this for my time with you guys. I went to the show finished that I was helping on, the one that I didn't get into, but then helped on.
But you were doing the costumes?
Yeah.
I mean, doing the costumes is a nice way to say I was like backstage ironing. I did like some button changes, but I came in after the costumes were already done and they just needed someone backstage. But we had the cast party yesterday. It was really fun. And I brought the normal thing people bring to a party, 5 joints. And I'm like, hey, I brought 5 joints. And they're like, Carol.
Well, no wonder they love you. You do all the hard work and you bring weed. Like, who wouldn't be a fan of yours? And look, if this is you trying to win your way onto the stage next time, I think you're going to be successful.
Or they'll just be like, we can't cast her. Who will help with the costumes?
Or who'll bring us weed?
I could still do that. I also brought donuts and it was funny. They were like raving about them, the donuts that I always rave about. So I brought them Saturday and Sunday. People were like, Carol, those donuts you brought are still good today, the next day. They still taste so good. I'm like, I have a whole Twitter account about it. And they're like, what?
It is funny. Your entire Twitter account is about the donuts. It's great.
I told them that and I was like, no, I'm just kidding. Of course, that's not why. It's because I post selfies. I getting drunk up to this point. I sat and drank this margarita up to you getting here.
It's gone, but it's in my cup. Yeah, it's in my cup.
That is an empty bottle.
I'm going all Kurt Cobain.
Wait, do I know what now? What happened?
No, Carol said that my bottle is empty, and I said I poured it in my cup. I'm channeling Kurt Cobain.
Carol, you died again. What happened?
Up in my cup. Yep.
Oh yeah. Rest in peace.
It changed again. My microphone. What is going on?
Is it plugged all the way in? Maybe if you jingle the wire, it'll cut it off. Are you just messing with us? Oh, okay. Well, I still can't hear you, but I can read your lips.
For lip reading podcast.
All right. I don't think the lip reading podcast, that will absolutely not be successful.
Okay. I will not jingle anything.
Jingle, donut, bangle.
Todd, do you want to read today or do you want to, you just want to make jokes, don't you?
I'm going to use my best Westchester white person voice. Damn it.
You should put a little Cockney in it, a little British Cockney.
That's not at all what I was doing. A little British Cockney in it. Trump announced he's running for president in AG Merrick Garland immediately announces the release of special counsel. Reload. I don't know what I'm doing anymore in it. Oh, Derek's making quite a face, love. Any boner he had for me before is gone now, innit?
Well, that's not true.
Okay.
Carol, you get to start us off. You go for it.
Am I saying Carol?
Yeah.
And don't we still start with This is Derek?
No, we're going to let you do it first today.
All right.
Todd, you get to be in the middle.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi, this is Carol.
This is Ty.
And this is D-Night.
And you're listening to the Pardon the Insurrection podcast. Happy couple days before Thanksgiving. We've got a big important show, the topics of which I definitely am familiar with already.
Okay, wait a second, Carol. You did it wrong. You have to make fun of the podcast before we dive into what's going on for the week. This is the Pardon the Insurrection podcast, where this is the only podcast who actually even cares about the insurrection anymore. Remember?
Yes, so is making fun of just me and myself, but sure, yes. This is the Pardon the Insurrection podcast, where D-Night said I could be the host and then told me I was doing it wrong right away.
Oh, no. I sound like such a man.
No. So, and hey Ty, what are you saying? What is your favorite food that you're talking about right now?
Turkey.
Oh, Turkey Day.
Nobody likes
Gobble,
turkey. Let's just
That's not true.
Everybody likes turkey.
Yeah, that was blasphemous.
Turkey.
Just because you're Jewish and aren't allowed to enjoy your food anymore.
What?
I don't know.
That's wrong holiday, man.
I'm glad
Oh.
we're having turkey, collard greens, macaroni and cheese, and some fucking stuffing that is seasoned.
Amen. Hey, but no, fried turkey is awesome. If you've never had a deep fried turkey, you should try that. It will change your entire perspective on like the enjoyment you can get from turkey.
It'll change your life.
So I'm not getting my traditional Thanksgiving meal this year because my parents abandoned me and they left. I can't believe they left me all alone at only 38 years of age, home alone with my family for Thanksgiving.
And for yourself at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but we do season our food. I know I'm white, but you guys came to my dad's house for Thanksgiving. You would not leave disappointed.
Okay,
Well,
maybe we don't actually care about the insurrection. I was wrong. Thanksgiving dinner is obviously more important.
I definitely still care about it, and those guys got to fucking pay. So we're going to dive right into it. Turkey. Okay.
Turkey.
All right. Today we got, I'm going to run through the news because it's always a yo, what the fuck moment with Pardon the Insurrection. No one's laughing at me. Let's go on. Trump announced he's running for president, and Attorney General Merrick Garland immediately announced the release of special counsel Reloaded. This time, Agent Smith will save us.
You see what I did there?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're like, no, bitch, I haven't watched The Matrix in 20 years. What'd you do there?
I didn't watch the second two because I said this movie was over. That it was a good movie and it's over now. And I object.
Well, you might have made the right decision.
Was the best. You gotta have albino.
Okay, we're clearly not going to get it together.
You gotta have albino.
We're gonna get it together.
Yeah, okay, if you missed
Something
out on
albino.
if you missed out on the Matrix sequel, there was like albino twins in there who were also ghosts who used swords and shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
So spoiler alert, 20-year-old movie, just in case you missed it.
Anyway, this time Agent Smith will save us. Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed Jack Smith, former Hague prosecutor and former U.S. attorney, to oversee the criminal investigations into Donald Trump, the fraudulent elector scheme to obstruct the transfer of power on January 6th, and the classified documents case. Oh, shit. He has got a lot of
He's got
charges
a lot on his plate.
against him. I don't want to be him right now or ever. It was only a matter of time before the former president lashed out against the news and the new special counsel. We did not have to wait long. In remarks at his Florida resort Friday night, Trump called the appointment of special counsel Jack Smith appalling and a horrendous abuse of power. I'm never doing that again.
Horrendous abuse. This is a rigged deal.
He said, referring to Smith. Jinx. A highly respected career prosecutor.
Super radical left special counsel.
In comments reminiscent of his January 6th rhetoric, the Republican added,
"You people have to fight. You have to fight. You have to be strong."
Hours earlier, Trump said something similar to Fox News, insisting that the Republican Party should
stand up and fight. I am not going to partake in this.
This was another part of the Republicans' message to Fox News on Friday afternoon. It's also not much of a response. Criminal suspects don't have the luxury of trying to negate legal proceedings through boycotts. So I don't. Is this him again?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how he's planning on not protecting and facing criminal charges. That should go well. Good luck.
Well,
I honestly don't give a fuck about what that.
Yeah, it's funny. He can believe whatever he wants, man.
Yeah, let him.
Yeah, like I don't give a fuck about what that fucking orange clown has to say about anything.
I do. And he went on to say, "I have been going through this for 6 years." Trump added this one in his message to Fox News, but it was less effective than he probably realized. Reminding us that he's been suspected of criminal wrongdoing throughout his political career doesn't help his defense. Isn't this sort of like double jeopardy?
Evidently.
I'll take prison for 1,000, Alex.
Evidently, because he's been impeached twice before, Trump doesn't think he should face criminal investigations into separate matters now. In related news, the former president apparently has no idea what double jeopardy means.
That means it's for 2,000, Alex. 2. Double the thousands. Yeah, okay, so special counsel appointments are generally appropriate when there's either a conflict of interest in the department, say like when DOJ is investigating a sitting president who can directly interfere with the investigation, or under extraordinary circumstances, which is what Garland used as the basis of disappointment. The special counsel's office can also outlast the Biden administration no matter how long prosecution takes. If there's a decision to decline prosecution, the special counsel has the right to report to Congress detailing why, which the Department of Justice doesn't have to do should Garland stay in control of the investigation. And also, the appointment will insulate the Department of Justice from inquiries from Republican-led House committees. So there are some pros for you. I mean, there aren't too many cons to the appointment of a special counsel other than the assumption that maybe it might somehow increase the time it takes for DOJ to get to the point where they'll be indicting Trump. And I feel the same way, but I don't think it'll be years. I think it might add months at best, 2 or 3.
See, personally, I always think this would expedite the process.
You think so?
This guy came out, unless all of these accounts of him are fake, and I don't mean Twitter accounts. I know those are all fake. But now that Twitter is just a wasteland of like anything goes, like verification and, whatever. Let's get into that part.
Andrew Wiseman, who was on Mueller's special counsel team, said the same thing. He said this guy was no nonsense. He was business. He is very aggressive.
But he came right out and he's like, I will pursue these matters expediently and to the full extent as is appropriate under the law. And like that to me was like, this guy's not going to fuck around. He's coming in and like, he's got all this evidence already. You have the Jan 6 committee about to turn over all of their evidence.
True. I think too that I think Garland sees the writing on the wall, like with all of the crowing from Republicans that they're going to impeach him or whatever, but his appointment of a special counsel, that will transcend all of that because it will go through administrations. I think that was Garland's kind of like offensive move in the event that the lunatic nut job portion of the Republicans try to impeach him.
Right.
So the investigation is still going on.
Yeah, it'll be difficult for the whack jobs in the House who happen to take over for them to interfere in the investigation.
Yeah.
It just adds an extra layer of insulation. And obviously, look, they're going to go crazy either way, accusing Garland of political bias or whatnot. And well, I think it's totally unnecessary to have appointed a special counsel. There are pros. So whatever. As long as it doesn't affect the eventual outcome Garland will still have to sign off on charges should they be recommended anyway. And we're only assuming that this wasn't an attempt for Garland to dodge bringing charges, because if that was the case, he could have just declined to prosecute Trump anyway.
That's true.
Yeah. And again, Andrew Weissman said this dude is serious. He don't play no games. Like, if he thinks there's a case to be made, he'll bring charges, and he thinks the evidence doesn't amount to bringing charges. He won't, but there won't be any, he won't be subject to any shenanigans. That would be the short of it.
Yep.
We appreciate you serenading us, Carol.
I wasn't doing any shenanigans back then.
He is serenading.
Okay. Former aide found guilty of laundering money into the Trump campaign.
Ooh.
This sounds familiar. Where might we have heard accusations of this before? Maybe it was with the previous special counsel. I don't know. Let's find out. A Republican operative was convicted last Thursday of facilitating an illegal campaign contribution from a Russian national to the Trump campaign in 2016. Yeah, the good days, good old days, fun times there. The Justice Department touted the jury conviction of Jesse Benton, known for his work on campaigns for GOP Senators Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul, in a press release Thursday. The department said Benton acted as a straw donor and contributed $25,000 of the Russian foreign nationals' money to the campaign, falsely identified himself as the contributor, and pocketed the remaining $75,000. That was fantastic. This dude not only broke the fucking law, but he skimmed off the top. That was great. Hope he spends a lifetime in prison.
You can't find good criminal help these days.
I mean, just out here working for the Russian assets, being an asset yourself, and then you're like, oh, let me help myself to this $75K. Ben was previously a key aide on Ron Paul's 2012 presidential campaign. Ron Paul, Rand Paul, two different people, same family, both assholes. Ben was previously a key aide on Ron Paul's 2012 presidential campaign and served on McConnell's 2014 re-election campaign as a manager. In 2016, he was convicted for falsifying campaign records in a 2012 scheme to pay for a presidential endorsement. I mean, this motherfucker is frauding all over the place. I don't understand why he wasn't running Trump's campaign. That conviction stemmed from charges related to his work on the Paul presidential campaign, and Benton was accused of conspiring to steer $73,000 to an Iowa state senator in an effort to get him to switch his support to Paul over Michelle Bachmann ahead of the 2012 Iowa caucuses. He was sentenced to probation, and then President Donald Trump pardoned him in 2020. What a tangled web of crime and fraud we weave, where you're stealing money from the Russians, even though you're supposed to be giving it to the Trump campaign. And you're also committing crimes on behalf of Ron Paul. That was some weird shit. And you somehow managed to sneak in the 2020 pardon palooza from Trump. This guy. Hey, this is a trifecta of insanity.
He told me he was done after the first felony.
I'm sorry. When I was taking notes on this, I didn't actually realize how crazy this was. Like, how are Mitch McConnell and Ron Paul and Rand Paul, for that matter, not out here, like, condemning this?
Well, you know how you said you missed that 2015 attitude, that 2015 life outlook? It's, if you had read this, if we were like somehow time traveling and heard this podcast in 2015, we'd be like, you're not even trying to make it sound realistic, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? You're right. I've been like, wait, this isn't real. There's no way this happens. Yeah, this is crazy. I don't understand. Like, and then to say that Russian collusion, quote unquote, isn't real, and we just have a perfectly obvious example of Russians funneling money to Trump's campaign. Russian
collusion.
I mean, yeah, it was a hoax, huh? What a hoax. Some dude is going to prison over a hoax. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. He's not going to win his appeal saying the Russian collusion isn't real.
He wants an audit. It's always a hoax. Anyway.
After you, Carol.
Yeah. So the Oath Keepers seditious conspiracy trial. I love hearing about these guys and their trials. So
see, part of the insurrection, we do actually care about the actual insurrection.
We care. We're here because we care. Stuart Rhodes and the leaders of the Oath Keepers repeatedly called on then President Donald Trump to deploy the military to prevent ceding the Oval Office to Joe Biden. When he didn't, prosecutors said Friday they decided to do it themselves. After a grinding 8-week trial, the most significant.
Well, I'm absolutely certain that Stuart Rhodes is prone to take matters into his own hands, especially given like the quality of his relationships. Anyway.
After a grinding 8-week trial, the most significant to emerge from the Jan 6th appearance that I was just naturally thinking of these words, attack on the Capitol, prosecutors pleaded with jurors to consider the weight of Rhodes's words in the lead up to January 6th, 2021. And Ty has to urinate.
Thank you for sharing, Ty.
These defendants repeatedly called for the violent overthrow of the United States government, and they followed these words with action. Assistant U.S. Attorney Catherine Rakoczy said in her closing statements, "Please do not become numb to these statements. Think about what is actually being called for in these statements." To prosecutors, the case is clear.
Yeah, wait, before you go on.
Yes.
What is going on in these statements? What is Stuart Rhodes actually asking the President of the United States to do? Let's be clear here. Call the fucking military in and stop the transition of power. Just wanted to say it out loud, just in case you didn't realize how fucking insane it is. Hey, welcome back, Ty.
To undermine the basic tenets of our democracy and what's kept us afloat for, like almost 300. How many fucking years has it been? 250?
250?
Math is hard.
Math is hard. Well,
we're coming up on 250
250-ish.
Pretty soon here. Hopefully Biden will still be in office.
Anyway.
Ty, that was quick. I'd assume you'd be like making a tape for the former president or something.
Well, I always feel like
on your R. Kelly type shit.
The least
peeing, not the sex trafficking.
Time in is a restroom.
Gotcha.
So that's So I perfected my get in, get out.
Nice.
Did you wash your hands, Ty? Go wash your hands.
Yeah, I did.
Well, it's not like she has to hold it or anything when she goes to pee.
Anyway.
Or maybe I might be wrong. I don't know how that thing works down there. You can. Look, last week
that would get in the way too. I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm just saying. Last week, no one taught me how a dildo works, and like today, no one's taught me how a woman's urethra works. I don't know if you have to hold it. I have to hold mine, or it'll just go everywhere. It'll just be like psh, and just all over the place, and like hit me in the face. Anyway, continue.
Even if you're sitting down, you have to.
Yeah. Well, because like if you're sitting down and you're doing it, then you gotta like if you don't, it'll like pop up. Right. We don't need that going. Yeah, I don't know how we got onto like the physics of urination here, but
it's just when we're sitting down, that's the direction it's going. That's just the positioning of the urethra is such that it goes down into the toilet. Anyway.
Yeah, well, depending on when I'm sitting down, like depending on the situation down there, it could be aiming down if it's. Anyway, I don't.
Did
just
you
whatever.
Think that you'd get a musical anatomy lesson about the urethra. Okay. Right. To prosecutors, the case is clear. Rhodes was the architect, quote unquote, of a plan to overthrow the government by force unless Trump took direct action to seize a second term he didn't win.
We went off on an incredible tangent there.
And I brought it back in because I am talented and drunk. As January 6th approached.
She corralled us.
It's a powerful combination.
She corralled us.
As January 6th approached, Rhodes grew increasingly frustrated at Trump's inaction and assembled a team including co-defendants Kelly Meggs and Kenneth Harrelson of Florida, Jessica Watkins of Ohio, and Thomas Caldwell of Virginia. They coordinated to amass an arsenal of heavy weapons at a Comfort Inn in nearby Arlington, Virginia. We haven't asked Comfort Inn to be a sponsors yet, but we're kind of thinking, I
don't know. Motel 6 is going to disown us if we court anyone else.
No, I don't want Comfort Inn. They had these fucking fuckers at their hotel. Maybe they can come and say that it was unbeknownst to them, and we'll talk.
Comfort Inn, if you're complicit.
Evaluating night.
Yeah, you better come forward.
Yeah. Anyway, so they were at this Comfort Inn in nearby Arlington, Virginia, and developed land and water routes to ferry them to Oath Keepers if violence erupted to ferry them to.
In case you haven't been keeping up with the trial, the prosecution was very detailed in what it is that the Oath Keepers were planning to do on January 6th. Like from weeks before, when they were gathering everyone together, and like the whole course they plotted on the way to Washington D.C. on January 6th. So
did they have boats? What were they ferrying with? Cars?
Yeah. Yes. Cars and by boat. So yeah, they had plans. So some serious shit. You know, DC gun laws came in handy.
So like all of the shit I was the most paranoid and freaking out about at the time was like happening. That's good.
Yeah.
24 Oath Keepers entered the Capitol after other rioters breached it and migrated toward the House and Senate chambers before they were repelled by police. Later, they met Rhodes outside the Capitol. Prosecutors say the group celebrated their actions and prepared to continue their efforts to oppose the government even after authorities regained control of the Capitol. Yikes.
Okay, side note. The time it took the Oath Keepers to enter the Capitol, well, from the time they entered the Capitol to the time they got to the Senate chambers, again, like this won't sound that impressive to you until you've looked at the layout of the Capitol building. It took them 5 minutes, really 4.5. They led an entire mob of people all the way from a broken window to the Senate chambers in 4 minutes. Like, I don't think I could find that shit if I was running full sprint through the damn Capitol. So obviously they had some kind of coordinated effort to get plans to the layout of the Capitol and to know where the Senate chambers were. The only thing that stopped them is it apparently seems that the only thing more important to the Oath Keepers than sedition was racism. Yeah, because they saw the black police officer and they were like, yeah, let's go chase that guy, instead of turning the other direction right into the Senate chambers. All right, side note over. Tangent done.
Yeah, that's I didn't think about that, or they were just very easily distracted. But yeah.
Well, of course, like they can't miss out on their chance to kill a black guy. Like, what?
Officer Dunn, we love you. I love you.
Good job, bro.
Yes.
You a champion, homie.
A champion. All right.
And Officer Fanone, if he ever gets divorced, I'm going to marry him.
Okay. Well, that got deep.
Yeah.
Well, so do I have to find like a Capitol police officer that I can crush on too? Like, I don't know. Let me look up hot Capitol police officer.
Well, who was the blonde chick that testified?
Why does it have to be a chick?
Oh,
so I touched my microphone. Can you still hear me? Good, so you can. After closing arguments Friday, jurors will begin deliberating on the most significant charge, seditious conspiracy, as well as a slew of other charges lodged against the Oath Keepers and leaders, including obstruction of an official proceeding and destruction of property at the Capitol. One of the lines of defense of Oath Keepers in their counsel's closing arguments was, if the video doesn't fit, you must acquit. And is this a joke? Did you write that? Or is that them? Is that for real? Oh,
that's real. They went all the way back to the 90s.
Grabbing my popcorn.
Oh man, podcast over.
my popcorn.
What is that in? You have like a garbage bag full of popcorn. That's amazing. I want that.
Yeah, I was impressed by that. I was like, oh, their lawyers watched the OJ trial, huh? And they haven't come up with anything new in 30 years. That was great.
Video. Yep. That's a VHS, and we have a USB, so we couldn't get it in the USB port.
Well,
so
you must have quit.
Mistrial. I'm like for a bad court thingy.
It's like we're in 4D, HDMI, and all this is it was that was wild. Yeah. I think that we don't have to comment on that any further. That was insane. I was like, well, if it doesn't fit, you must have quit. Well, you must be going to prison for the rest of your lives. Good job, guys.
That's true.